The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get in. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more. As always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT at SeatGeek.com today to save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all the great articles and other great podcasts, such as the Corner Booth and the guys over there at Brutally Honest Sports. Always a great podcast to listen to for all your sports needs across the world. Tonight we are joined once again with the Voice of Reason night, every Monday night live on YouTube. The Voice of Reason, the spouse, the smartest one in the room. Just ask her, Deanne Michaelopoulos. Deanne, how you doing tonight?
I'm lovely. Thanks for that lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. Lots going on in the world of sports. Well, let's forget about the what's going on right now. But you're a diehard Leafs fan. You were born into it. You were your dad and your grandfather and everything else. We talked a little bit last week on your.
I was born there too.
You were born there too. You're part of the Leafs nation, I guess.
My birth certificate says Ontario.
Yeah, it very well does. The Leafs are up, down, all around forever and ever. Never really get it done. Never get it. They're the most frustrating franchise in sports, I think, for anybody. They never get it done. They're never really ever close. Last time they were actually close was in 1994, I think it was, to getting something done, and they just don't get it. 93 and 94. And then just nothing even close. A couple playoff wins here and there, and a couple of rounds here and there that they win. What? And we talk about it all the time, because I'm a Leafs guy myself. My cousin played for the Leafs, and so I was kind of born into it myself. What is
their problem?
What is the problem with Toronto Maple Leafs? Because they have all the assets, they have all the they have everything you could possibly need. They have the fan base. They have the money. They have the training. They have the this. They have the that. Everything else you could possibly imagine. And they might be the most, and I don't want to say inept franchise, because it's a little bit harsh, because there's a lot of teams that are worse than them. But what, in your opinion, is the problem with Toronto Maple Leafs? Because I really want to I want to hear your honest opinion about this.
Well, okay. So we can segue from last week, where I mentioned something along the lines of being like, there's toxic employers where staff can come and go, but somehow the organization always sucks, no matter if the administration changes, management changes, staff changes. There's always, like, everybody is probably at some point in their life worked somewhere where you go, like, it doesn't matter who comes and goes. There's inherently a problem with how this place is run. And sometimes it's just something in the water, and sometimes maybe it's just something like it's cursed, like a goat, like a Greek goat, like the Cubs like to blame it on for a while. Here's my thoughts. I think that the Toronto MLSE as an organization is treating this too much like a business. I understand this is a business. I get that. This is not over my head. This is not some naive outside take. But they look at it too much like a business and don't realize that the things that make them successful are intangibles. This is not a retail exchange. This is not it's not a, here's your product, someone purchases and off you go, and we all get what we want. This is a game of emotion. It is a game of talent. It's a game of feelings. It's a game of motivation. It's a game of all of these things that are intangible and kind of immeasurable facts or immeasurable elements. And I think that whatever approach that the brass, the front office, the top end, the management, administration, whoever you want to blame, keeps looking at this as strictly a numbers game and thinking if they throw money at this and you spend more money on product or inventory, it's going to result in more revenue. And technically, they're right. It does. They market the guts out of the Leafs. They bring in the big names and more people buy tickets. But in the end, the big problem is the big brass ring of winning a championship, making the playoffs, advancing in the playoffs, and getting to the big show. And they are looking at it too moneyballish, not whether it's statistics, whether it's analytics, whether it's so-and-so is good at this and so-and-so is good at that. Sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and sometimes it's not. And they can throw all the money they want at talent, and they've been doing this for 40, 50 years. You're going to get this guy. You're going to get this big name. Sure, it'll fill the seats, but it's not going to win you a championship. People are going to come and watch that person. People are going to come and watch Matthews. People came and watch Marner. People are watching Nylander and maybe Domi, or like a million of these guys that have come and gone. Clark, Gilmore. Like, this goes back way far. You're going to fill the stands and you're going to be great in the regular season and you'll be a middle level team, but that's never going to get you over the hump. And this is the thing that you've criticized me for the 10 plus years that I've known you, that they don't play like a team. They play like individuals on the same plate of ice. And my whole joke is that they don't play like a team. They need to play like a team. And what I mean by that, it sounds little league, and it sounds like girl who doesn't know sports. What it entails is that every person on the team knows their role, knows where to hand back, knows when to step up, knows when to take a back seat, knows they're friends with each other, they laugh with each other, they cry with each other. The integration is not something you can buy. It is something that has to happen organically. Personalities have to mesh. The drive has to be for the same end goal. The Raptors did it. The Jays did it this year. The Jays were like that in 15-16. I'm only using Toronto teams because they're the ones I'm the most familiar with. There's a cohesiveness to the unit that is greater than the sum of the talent on the team. They lost Bichette. Didn't really seem to make a difference. Marner going, I don't care. I said this, I think I said this on air last week. Matthews should play tennis. He's an individual player. He's unbelievably talented. But if he didn't play in Toronto, no one would know his name. Statistical people would know his name. Of course, he's up there with like the maybe, I don't know, top 10 guys in the active guys in the NHL. I don't even know if that's true or not. I don't know.
Not right now, yeah.
But he has been over time. He was probably considered one of the top 5 at some point in the last 5 years. But the guy is only worried about, I don't know him personally. I'm making assumptions about people I don't know. But that guy is concerned about his statistics, his next contract, how he looks on the ice, how he looks off the ice, what endorsements he gets. He is not concerned about the Toronto Maple Leafs winning a championship. He cares about how he looks every night, how he appears on ice and on the screen. So if he scores a goal, he's like super into it and really excited, but it's not for the greater good. And this goes back to what I say about playing like a team. You can have a team filled with no-name guys and they're going to win. What Pietrangelo is the only guy I can think of that played for the St. Louis Blues. How many superstars other than the goalie was playing for the Las Vegas Knights? These legacy teams, the LA Kings won a Stanley Cup, every second year for 2 or 3 years? The Blackhawks won a Stanley Cup every 2 or 3 years, or every second year for 10, 12, and 14. Sometimes you get talent and the cohesiveness. And that's why you got a couple of legacy teams out of those two. But other times you hit the sweet spot with the people playing together, and that's what sends you the whole way. The Chicago Cubs, who was on that team? Maybe I'm sounding stupid, but it worked. And I think that's the problem with the Leafs. My only exception to this entire thing are the Oilers. Those guys like each other, play with each other, grind out with each other, but they've made it to the big show 2 years in a row against the same other team. They have talent and the cohesiveness.
I don't understand. The thing I don't understand about the Leafs is how they have, like I said in the opening, they have all the money to spend. They have all the resources and everything else. They have a fan base that wants them to win. But inherently, the problem you got is that they just never get it done. Is it a situation where the players go there and they go, well, I'm getting paid now. And
that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm a Leaf, and then you have the arrogance, and I'll say it right off the bat. The Shannon plan never worked. Like the Brendan Shanahan.
I think the Shannon plan had his heart in the right place, but they didn't have the right.
They brought him in. They brought him in, saying, and because he was very successful in his playing career, but it never worked. And then
that's also why
they got rid of Lou Lamoriello to bring in Dubas because that wasn't part of the Shannon plan. And
I didn't mention Tavares. I think he's a fantastic part of that team. That guy has that passion. It's like, yeah, he's the captain, but it's like he can't wrangle. Or did they take the C away? Am I imagining that?
And they gave it to Matthews last year.
Right. When I know Thornton was, the big galoot that was on the team and he wasn't making a big difference and the guys near retirement were holding. People like that make all the difference. Having those kinds of people, those elements, those personalities on a team to create a cohesiveness, to create a familial feeling of all rooting for the same goal. They paid for too many stars who are only concerned about themselves. And that's the problem to me. That's as bare bones as you can get. The Shannon plan was, okay, let's grab all these big names and all this talent. But it's like making a group of friends. Like you can't just make friends because on paper, it's like dating apps. You can't just order form a person and think like, okay, this is going to work and this is going to work and this is going to work and this should all work because we all like the same things. But then there's no chemistry. That's why like opposite people can completely have successful relationships because just because you're not into the same things or you're not on paper exactly the same doesn't mean that there's not a cohesiveness there for whatever reason. The intangibles is everything. And sports is exactly the same thing.
Like just this past week, and when they got their teeth kicked in by the Oilers on Saturday night, and then Matthews wasn't even. I don't want to say, I don't know what there's something going on with that obviously, but he didn't even have the nuts to go in front of the media. Is he's not a leader? Like to me, he's not a leader.
No, were you not in the mood to hear?
He wasn't in the mood or whatever it was, and it was a bad look for him to not go. And you go back into the 90s, and they didn't win either. But Wendell Clark and Doug Gilmour and whoever it might have been would never have done that. Would never have.
You step up; it's part of your job.
They would never say, well, "I'm not going to the media." Like, is there something?
Have some accountability.
Is there just not because you're paying the guy $14 million? I think he's the highest paid guy in the league right now.
And I also have a very large problem with how they operate nowadays, like in the media in general for any major league, at any professional team. That there's a lot of cloak and dagger. There's a lot of like, oh, we can't talk about this, and a lot of things that are on the DL or the IL, and we're not like somebody's hurt, we're not going to talk about it. Like, be upfront with people. Like, I know there's other elements nowadays, and it's trades and it's value and it's betting and God knows what. There's a million things that like people don't talk about when someone's injured and they pretend that everything's fine. But step up, face the music. Like I lose more and more respect with some of these guys and that kind of. You can't even face a media scrum that's uncomfortable. How are you going to dig down and do what's got to get done to power through on a major event? Like I got no faith in that. The proof is in the pudding. And when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time.
And that's the thing with Matthews. He hasn't got it done. It's not completely his fault. But once you pay a guy $14 million, eventually it is your fault. It is your deal.
Is your fault.
You can only shit can only run downhill so far. Eventually got to go back uphill. And if he's the top dog and it doesn't get done, because you think about it, like over in the Matthews era, 10 years now, I think it's been.
Ballpark, I'm pretty right, 8-ish.
They've changed coaches, they've changed GMs, they've changed this, they've changed presidents, on and on.
They've changed ownership.
They've changed everything. And
like they were owned by the Speakers
Matthews
Association
is the guy
10 years ago, and now they're not.
Matthews been the guy around the entire time. They got rid of his second-hand man, which is, that's a whole nother story for another day with Mitch Marner departing ways, going to Las Vegas.
Yeah, when you got your dad cutting your deals for you, what does that say for how much cojones you have on your own team?
So is the problem maybe they have one guy running the show, they have one guy running the operation, and it's Austin Matthews and not the guys who should be.
And who's really running? Is the tail wagging the dog? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's GM or who's the owner or who's the coach. If Starboy Matthews says, I'm not doing that, or I don't care enough, what are they going to do about it? Nothing. And
this is on the hockey side of things, not on the personal side of things. Maybe the guy's hurt, and that's another thing
then tell everybody he's hurt and
that the Leafs do extremely wrong on they've been doing it for years now. They say upper body, lower body. They don't divulge the information. Is it like, okay, if you tell the public the guys that I'm not 100%,
who are you hurting? Like, be honest.
Okay, that I'm hurt. My left oblique is hurt. That's why I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, my left feeling is hurt.
But if they were to come out and say that, you might, in the court of public opinion, because that's one that actually matters.
You'd have a little bit more grace with people and be like, okay.
And say, okay, I'm not 100%, but I'm still playing. You might get a little bit of leeway with the fan base and with the media. If you're just sitting in the background and pretending that you're 100% and not doing anything, then what?
Am I not?
That's why you're
that's what happened last year with the playoffs. That Matthews was MIA, and then we found out later he was hurt.
Might have not last year, the year before, but yeah. But it's the same thing. And they do the same thing with goaltenders and everything else. If
you're hurt, you're hurt. You're human. I understand that. It's not like baseball players who have blisters and then don't play. Tightness in his calf, out for a week.
No, it's absolutely insane. Like, and my problem, like, they bowed
the whole thing. I got no sympathy for it.
They bowed down to Matthews since he's been there. And he's a great player. He scored 68 goals, whatever it was, a couple of years ago, and he was fantastic. And a guy scores 68 goals and scores 130 points. He's a really good player.
Anybody who's listening to this, any normal Joe Schmo who exists in this world, who's not a bajillionaire, is if they don't do their job properly at work, they're going to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So explain to me why you add 2 commas and 6 more zeros to whatever somebody's getting paid, and somehow they get more leeway? That's not how things work.
Is it time?
Be a leader. Be a leader.
And maybe he's not that guy, and maybe like
he's not the guy, and move on.
Well, and here's the deal: like when they took the C off Tavares to try to maybe push Matthews into that you need to be a leader. You need to earn your pay, I guess. Like,
Tavares was a leader. I just think his wings got clipped.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at. Like when they wanted to get Martin or Matthews into him, okay, hey, can you do a little more? Can you do a little more? And maybe that's not who he is. So maybe this was a Leafs fault, and maybe it was a management fault by not doing it. That maybe he's just not that guy. Maybe he's not that guy, because not everyone's
just not that guy. Not everybody's built for that. Like what my go-to joke has been, he should play tennis. He's super talented, but he needs to play a solo, individual, non-team sport. That's it. Not everybody's built to be on a team.
Like when I think a big warning sign, I think, should have been when he signed his extension. It wasn't for an 8-year, it was for a 3-year, or whatever it was. Your brother would know more than I would. But isn't it like when he didn't commit long term, and McDavid did the same thing at Edmonton. It's money and things and stuff. But
yeah, and then took a hometown discount like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for McDavid.
Like,
a lot of respect.
With Matthews, wouldn't it have been an eye opener saying this guy's not here for the long term? Hi Bernie. Like, wouldn't it be the long term thing? Like, this guy doesn't want to be here long term. He took a big deal.
Like, do you know what I remember? Do you want to say?
And then they put the captain on him. So is it not? Is it bad insight? I guess for Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment to put all their eggs in the Matthews basket.
Yes,
He's not
it
that
is.
guy.
I don't know if it was last year. Like,
well, whose fault is it? Like, if the guy isn't, if that's just not who he is.
Well, it's both. Because if that's not who he is, that's
not his fault.
But why is the organization keep forcing it? Like, it's going to be a thing. It's not. Like, Lamorello probably would have gotten rid of him earlier. And what did I say to you? I think it was at the end of last year, or maybe it was the 2024 playoffs because it was a game 7? It was like a push comes to shove sort of scenario with McDavid. And I said, do you think that McDavid's in the locker room going, we're not losing tonight? Do you remember that conversation I had with you?
Yeah.
Where he goes, you guys, you effers better get it together. We're not losing tonight.
And he's not that guy.
McDavid is, though, I think.
Yeah.
I think when it's necessary. I don't think he's like that's his cruising altitude, but I think when it matters, I think he is. When he gets upset and goes, "Okay, that's enough." And Matthews is not that guy. He's just not. There's a special place in your gut you have to go to pull this kind of stuff off. And there's a handful of players in any sport that exists that are able to do that right now. And Matthews not one of them. Generationally, there's lots of these guys that come and go that like go to that place. And it's like I said, it's an intangible. It's a complete intangible. And they're able to inspire people to also do the same thing. And Matthews is not that guy. Winning the Stanley Cup is not an easy thing to do.
And that's not his fault. That's who he is.
I didn't say that. I'm not defending him.
Well,
like I'm not.
All
I'm saying is that he's not that guy. And how many times do you go to the well and think that it's going to be different? It's like an abusive relationship. I joke around about this all the time. How many times are you going to expect one thing from someone and they show you who they are, and you go, okay, but maybe next time it'll be different. It's not going to be different. But like I said a minute ago, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, maybe the second time, maybe, and that's it.
The thing with Matthews is he's a very good hockey player.
Yeah, sure. But if he didn't play in Toronto, no one would know his name.
I didn't say great. I said he's a very good hockey player.
You and I said this. If he didn't play in Toronto, no one knows who the heck he is.
Yeah, like we watch hockey just enough. And yeah, he's just
hockey fans would know who he is.
But fringe people would, and it's for management to put all their eggs in that basket. Is that like we'll go back to the MLSE? Are they just because they overpaid for a guy, I guess, and hope that this might be the thing, or did they actually even care? They
probably don't care because
does MLSE actually care if they win a Stanley Cup or not? Because the building's full no matter what.
Because they sell out no matter what. They're a marquee team.
And it doesn't matter.
They're a marquee team who sells out every game,
front page
sells merchandise. And then during the months of May and June, they probably have concerts booked there.
Like you want to, I don't think they don't want to win, but because they spend
I don't
more
think they care about winning.
But is winning almost secondary to them?
Yes, that's what I think. I think it's an inherent baked into the pie scenario with the Leafs. That's my hot take.
If they Vancouver just traded away their best player and their captain and Quinn Hughes to Minnesota last week because Hughes basically said I'm not re-signing here after next season my contract's on I'm out. And they traded him. And Vancouver is going to take a hit at the box office. People aren't going to show up. People are going to quit going. They already had before.
Is this guy that pivotal? I never heard of him.
He's really good, but they're just not very good.
How long did he play there?
He's been there for 5-6 years, whatever. Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But if the and Vancouver people are going to say we're not going to show up, and I get it, and they're going to
take your licks when you make changes.
They're going to take a hit. The thing is, if Toronto, just to say conversation, because that's what podcasts are, if they were to say, you know what, we're not winning this year, because they're not winning the Stanley Cup. They're not. They might not make the playoffs. The way things are kind of rolling, they're up and down and all around. If they were to trade Austin Matthews, the place still be full.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing would change. So who's the dumb one? Who's the dumb one? Leaf fan?
The Leafs are.
Leaf fan or MLSE? Who's the dumb one?
Well, both.
Because tickets aren't cheap. So who's the dumb one for going back?
Well, fans too, but like, I mean, I'll put myself in that category too. I'm never going to be a jersey thrower. Although, granted, I mean, if I lived in Toronto, I probably wouldn't go to games unless it was like some special occasion or some reason to whatever. But, and as a fan who lives outside of province, I will absolutely go when the chance comes up. So that's exactly why they keep making their money. They have enough of a pool of a market that it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. People are going to still go because it's a marquee team.
Would you, if the money would be tough? Obviously, he makes $14 million, I think, a year. He's the highest paid player in the league this year. If you could, would you trade him?
Absolutely.
And what would you hope to get back?
Huh?
Like, are you hoping for prospects or players, or they'd be a worse team?
Prospects. I'll take middle level grinder guys.
They'd be worse team without him. So as a fan, are you?
By what measure are they a worse team? By what measure? They're all the Stanley Cups that they have?
Well, that's a good point.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, what makes you worse? If they're a 500 team and they get rid of Matthews and they get 2 or 3 guys who are grinders, who like some forward, some defense guy, and maybe like a third line, whatever. Those are good elements to have. It adds a foundation. You don't need a big name to win a game. Like we say about baseball, small ball wins
they don't hurt.
Small ball wins games. You don't need like home run hitters obviously help, like you said, like they don't hurt, but you need guys who know how to steal bases. You know, guys how to do line drives. You know, guys who knows how to do it like that's the stuff you need. And that's the things that add up to more goals and more runs and more this and more that. And that's what wins you games in the end, in the long run.
But without talent, you don't win.
Well, nobody who plays in the NHL doesn't have talent.
Well,
it's just a scale. Like you take the lowest paid, least talented guy that's physically currently in the NHL, they're still going to kick the shit out of some guy in a rec league. Like we talk about it the other way, like being the best of the worst, and like the king of a third world country. But you could be a small fish in a big pond, and that still means you're really good. You're just harder to notice.
Is it at a point now where they have to kind of take a step back and go, you know what, we're not doing it. They've already traded. They already got rid of Marner, didn't sign, and then this guy's not going to sign, and they're just not good enough.
Like you also don't want to deliberately sewer your season like the Flames are.
Well, the Canucks more so than the Flames, but the Flames still think they have a hope.
Well, I see more Flame stuff than I see.
Is it a point now where they just go, and would Leafs fans finally just throw up the white towel?
I'm sure there's always a percentage of people that will. I never will. I know.
Not forever and ever, but I'm just saying.
Because I said to you last week, I'm not cheering for the individual player, and I'm not cheering for the individual manager, the owner for the next 15 years. I'm cheering for the organization as an entity and as a representative of my favorite city in the world. and the people that live there. Like, to me, it's more than just a game. It's more than just a sport. It's representative of a community, a tradition, a nostalgia, a meaning in something that I could go into long diatribes about how it's not about the game. It's about what the team represents for communities and for families and all of that stuff. This has nothing to do with the player. I'm never going to throw the towel in. I don't care what they do, because the organization and the management and the ownership will always change. It will always evolve and change over time. I could hate whoever's running it now. I could hate and despise the ownership group and think they've made awful decisions. They could make morally irreprehensible decisions. And I could be upset with them and not maybe want to give them my dollar or my dime for a little while, but I'm never going to not be a Leafs fan.
When does the fan frustration become enough? Because I remember,
45 years ago.
Well, yeah, there is that too. But I remember me and my brother Mike were sitting at the Silver Buckle Medicine Hat, and it was 4-1 night, and you rolled in.
The 4-1 night.
You rolled in from work over at Tops there, and you came to the Buckle there, and you were sitting aside there. It was 4-1, and nothing's changed since then. Take us back to that night when it was 4-1.
That was the day that the moving location superstition started, because they were winning 4-1 when I finished work, and the game was on in the lounge. And I went, yeah, I'm going to go meet my friend. And I walked in, and there was a goal that happened while I was in the car, and it was 4-2, and then it was 4-3, and then it was 4-4, and then it was 5-4. And I didn't even sit down. I didn't actually even technically join you guys, I think.
No,
I just stood there at the bar.
Me and Mike were sitting at the bar, and you rolled in. You were standing on the side there and watched the game a little bit. And I remember Mike vividly said, I can't remember who the guy had the breakaway and didn't score.
Yeah, your brother said it.
And Mike said, this thing's not over. And it turns out it wasn't. Was that a low point, I guess, in your Leaf fandom? Like I went through a lot of different things.
No.
Like I had some very, very bad Leaf fandom things with when my cousin played for Leafs. We go to games to get their tea kicked in by the Oilers. It wasn't
in that.
Or did you expect it?
I didn't expect it. It hadn't got. You know what? That was a tipping point. It wasn't that bad until that year. It was just like a consistent, like, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. And that year is when the tipping point changed, and we're like, these guys are a joke.
But why is it this? You bring in new players, because Matthews wasn't part of that team, obviously. You bring and Nylander wasn't there. New goalies. On and on.
That's what I said, though.
Why is it
come and go? The organization.
Why is it always that franchise that does it? Like they're very comparable to the Cubs. They're very comparable to the Red Sox before.
Maybe that year is the opponent.
Hi, Bernie.
Because I have said a lot of really, really awful things about Brad Marchand in the last 12 years. And I would like to respectfully acknowledge the fact that my opinion has changed on that man. And he's a grinder. And off the ice, I have a lot of respect for that person. He's a lot better guy than I thought he was. But he's slimy. He's a slimy guy on the ice. And someone, I'm sure you have, I'm sure other people have, that said if he was on your team, you wouldn't hate him that much.
Ken Lindsman, back in the day, yeah.
And until a couple of years ago, I disagreed with that. I'd be like, no, I don't want him anywhere near my team. He has no integrity, and but he does. And he just plays a certain way, and he gets under people's skin. And that had a lot to do with that game, which goes back to my original point about having people on your team that know how to dig deep, dig down, and get it done. And just because you're down 3 goals does not mean that the game is over. And people like Marchand, the people on the team in that year, I mean, they didn't win the Stanley Cup that year. I understand that. But things like that is where the wheat from the chaff. Like, that's the difference. And that's who wins championships. The people who know how to do it.
So what needs to be done? If someone gave Deanne Michaelopoulos the keys to the Corvette and said,
I would interview a million guys across the
Deanne,
and
because
find
you're
a
the
leader.
smartest voice of reason, smartest person in the
Find a leader. I would find the people on teams,
is
mid-level guys who are looking to trade and talk
the
to
leader
them.
on the ice or off the ice. I don't think it's I don't
Both.
think
Both.
on the ice thing. I think it's
Off and on the ice.
Because no matter what they do, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Because
they're not working again.
They're chasing statistics. They're not chasing personality, and they're not chasing integrity, and they're not chasing work ethic. They're chasing statistics. And sure, it's flashy, and sure, it gets ratings, and it fills the seats when someone does something fancy on the ice, but it doesn't win you a championship. And you know what? At the end of the day, if the Toronto Maple Leafs don't care about a championship and they just want to keep being profitable, I actually can't really blame them for it, because they're going to keep making money. And if that's all they're worried about, they're doing a bang-up job. So, like, it's just us sentimental folks that are worried about the championship. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't care. Maybe it's that simple.
Does that bother you they haven't won? No, I said before, like when the Yankees don't win, I'm like, all right, because I've seen them win a championship in my lifetime. Obviously.
I haven't. And I'm 43 years old, and I might not live to see it happen. I don't know. It's already been 58 years.
Yeah.
What's to stop them from being another Red Sox or a Cubs or an Indians or a Canucks or all these teams who have never won ever, or in 100 years or 80 years or whatever?
Would you be opposed if somehow
the Blackhawks were the only one who'd gone longer, and they busted that in 2010?
Would you be opposed to them saying, you know what, let's bottom out? Let's not.
No.
But they did that.
I would not be opposed to that.
And that's how they got Matthews.
And how did that work out?
To say, let's start over.
We won a round and everyone celebrated like we'd won the whole thing.
Is it embarrassing?
How pathetic is that? How pathetic is that?
Is it almost embarrassing to be a Leafs fan?
I did it too. Like I was celebrating. I was crying. I was so excited. And like, what kind of pathetic low bar do you have for anything that you respect when you do the bare minimum and you're so impressed and thrilled with it? Like it's embarrassing. And myself included. Like I did it.
Do you?
It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating.
It's confusing. It's confusing.
It has to be the fact that they pretend that they won a championship, but they probably don't really care because they're going to make the money hand over fist no matter what. And maybe they made a big run for it and got some names and went, okay, we're going to spend the money. And it made them more money because it was more endorsements and it filled more seats. But it wasn't about winning. It was about money. Because they spend $14 million a year on this guy or whatever, they're going to make back $28 million a year. In more jersey sales and more and more tickets and more whatever.
Everything they do just doesn't, like MLSE does. It doesn't seem to point towards wanting to win a championship.
It doesn't.
It
absolutely doesn't.
And I think that the biggest
thing. It
blows
my mind because they do no. I bet I could. I actually no. You just saw an entire conversation happen in my head out loud. The Raptors, they treat the same way. They don't care. They make money. The stands fill. They're $20 seats for whatever. Drake made the money because it made them like fun and cool and interneting stuff. The Raptors won a championship because the team was cohesive and wanted it. It had nothing to do with.
Well, they also brought in a rock star in Kawhi.
But he was just the keystone. Kawhi didn't. We've gone through this a million times.
Without Kawhi Leonard,
did not win the championship by himself, and he hasn't won a championship since he left.
He rolled in there and he won the championship.
You need the rest of the team.
You need the team. I get it, but without Kawhi Leonard, they do not win a championship.
I agree with that, but Kawhi Leonard didn't do anything since then. How are the Clippers doing?
He's He's got some sweetheart deals planned.
Well, that's a whole. Pay him out the wazoo, though. That doesn't mean the people around him had to work as well. The Raptors won because they had a team that worked as a team, which was my entire point and theme for this evening. They had like your Sakayans and your like DeRozan got traded, and then Laurie, and like again, I mean, trying to remember all the name, like all the guys, but it were 6 years ago, and I'm not the best with statistics. But there's like these guys were grinders, and they cared, and they wanted it, and that's what mattered. Kawhi was just the keystone. He was the final piece of the puzzle, talent-wise, that they needed. 100%.
If we were to wake up tomorrow morning and the Toronto Maple Leafs said enough's enough, we traded Austin Matthews to Minnesota because Minnesota got that Hughes kid from Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Would you be upset?
Nope. Not in the least. I'd probably be excited.
And try for something.
Sometimes there's a cancer in the locker room. Sometimes there's a toxicity in the locker room. That someone who's all mopey and poopy because they weren't the first star because like their endorsement's going to go on. That brings everyone down. A leader does not behave that way. Who can't face the media scrum. I got that's a next level piss off.
Yeah, when I heard that,
I gotta go to work every day, and I gotta meet with people, and I gotta talk to clients or bosses or coworkers. I don't get to feel like, no, I'm not gonna.
I had a bad day.
Are you kidding?
We're not going to talk today.
Not how things work.
Like if I'm making $14 an hour, I don't want to talk to somebody. It's one thing. When you're making 14 sheets, that's another thing.
Put your big boy pants on. Let's go.
Like Wendell Clark would never have done that. Austin Matthews or Doug Gilmour never. Like Jerome McGinley had some rough years in Calgary. He was always out in front of him.
Sittler would never do that. Like a lot of these guys would never do that. And they don't need to be big superstar names.
Yeah, I
have so little respect for people like that. And if there's more to the story, if there's facts I don't understand or like, oh, you don't know what's really
let us know.
Then tell us. Then tell us.
Then if there's something that's that sideways and that shitty in his life, 42 minutes and 39 seconds into this, someone finally swore it was me this time. But
I said shit once already.
Did you? Okay, well, If I was in charge of MLSE and there's something wrong with this guy, I would get out in front of him and say, this is why he isn't doing very well. This is why
plenty of people in professional sports have major family problems, injuries.
Because I expect 50 out of this guy, 50 goals. He ain't getting it. Well, why? Because he's tired? Because to tell me, then I'll be like, okay, I get it. He's playing through something.
And then we back off. But then it goes back to the same thing I was saying earlier about these teams who are cohesive units who don't have stars and no one cares, that pull it off and pull it together and dig deep and give a shit about each other and all of that stuff. That's what wins championships. And then sometimes you have that, and then you also have like a really deep talent pool, and then you end up with a dynasty. Because you can have these one-off teams that pull it off because they're grinders. And then you have teams that also have talent, but then they can't quite pull it off. You put them together, that's when you get teams like the Dodgers. That's when you get teams like Tampa Bay or the LA Kings or the Blackhawks in the early 2000s.
Well, I was going to say that, Deanne. Like you think about the guys like the Chicago Blackhawks. They had two superstars, and one of them wasn't Jonathan Toews.
Exactly. Like they had a couple of superstars. Toews is a
really good player, a great leader, not a great player. 70-point guy, but they had what's his pickle there? Doesn't like whatever.
I can't remember now,
but they had some good players. But Jonathan Toews,
the Capitals are a perfect example. Ovechkin is an generational talent, but then also the hardest working guy you could probably think of in your brain. And then the whole team follows that man's lead.
You know, Patrick Kane's the world, or like he's probably one of the greatest American players.
There's another one, yeah.
with Chicago, and then you had Duncan
Dowdy.
Keith, the Hall of Famer, and then you had an average goaltenders in Chicago, and they won 3 Stanley Cups.
Well, Jonathan Quick, or no, that was LA. Sorry.
No, but Taves isn't getting you 1,000 points, and he's not. But he's a really good player. Goalie? Pardon me?
Who was Chicago's goalie in that time?
Exactly.
No, it was a big one.
No, it wasn't. It was just a guy. I can't remember. Yeah. And that's just the thing. Like Jonathan Taves is considered one of the greatest leaders, and he won 3 Stanley Cups.
He's a leader, though.
You know, he's 70-point guy. And those kind of guys.
And they're also the guys who know how to hang back and pass to somebody else.
Right. And so the Leafs. The
only exception to my rule is the Oilers. It's the only one that doesn't make any sense. They're the exception to everything I've just said because they have the talent and they have the grit and they have the teamwork and they can't get there.
Well, they had
they've made it a Stanley Cup final game 7 2 years in a row. So that there is something to be said for that.
They had a guy who avoided hockey pucks hitting him for a couple of years, and we'll see how that's going to turn out. But yeah, I don't know. Like
anyway, that's my piece.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. It's odd that they've regressed or stayed stagnant for this many years. It's just, and then to have it all in front of you and then just didn't, and not even close. Like they went around. Like that's not even close, and that's what's astonishing. To spend that much money and to not even be close.
For what?
And for what? And to already be thinking about blowing it up. Right.
So what was the point?
Yeah, it's odd to me. It's really odd. I don't know.
Anyway, that's my piece for the night.
That's your piece. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question here.
Okay.
Let's just say pick your spot. We'll end it here. Pick your spot, whether you're in New York or in Toronto or wherever you might have watched a game. What is your perfect game day experience? Like when you wake up in the morning, get out of the hotel,
like going to the game, like
going to a game,
going to a game.
Like how, like what is your? How do you go about doing it? What's your game day experience? Deanne, Michael style, and don't include me. I'm there, but because I'm very bossy, and I know what like we're in New York, we kind of go by my rules. But what is your perfect game day experience going to a professional sports event? When you get up,
it would change based on
let's go an afternoon game or a night game.
It changes depending on where I am. What's the sport? What city am I in? It changes.
Let's go to a Toronto Maple Leafs game. I've never been to one. You have a Leafs game at 7:00 start.
Okay. I would want to spend the day downtown, light lunch, but liquid. A good, not a sports bar, but like a casual dining, high end, but still sports oriented. I don't know if that's a thing that even exists. Then walk around, maybe a stadium tour, even though actually no, because we did this part. We went to Maple Leaf Gardens, but that's a jaunt to take the subway over to Carlton Street, get a stadium tour, then go back to where the game is going to be, walk around inside, get a tailgate experience, but that doesn't really exist for the Leafs. And then hit up a real fan bar, like maybe the Loose Moose, maybe Real Sports, something along those lines. Before the game, and then I'd get in early. Maybe go to not warm up, but beforehand. And then, in the seats. I mean, in a perfect scenario, I'd love to have a suite. And not because I'm trying to be highfalutin, but I'd rather be there with 10 friends and have an awesome time with a group of people. That's the best case scenario. A big group that are all fans, not just random friends who are along for the ride, like fans, like people who are also, so whether it's family, whether it's like fringe fans who are also Leaf fans, like that would be, it would be an event day. Like the whole day would be centered around the game. But I like the idea of going for lunch, doing some walk around, being in some fan haunts, maybe a museum, like Hall of Fame, like Hockey Hall of Fame museum, not like an art museum.
I ain't going to a fucking museum, but whatever. But yeah,
I love a museum, but not like, I'm not going to like I'm not going to the ROM on the same day that I'm going to a Leaf game, the Royal Ontario Museum.
Yeah, when you said wrong, I had no idea.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that was douchey of me. I shouldn't expect you to know that.
What
It's called the ROM. It's Royal Ontario Museum. What everyone calls it the ROM.
Let's finish this up there. You've been to New York with me a couple of times. Once you went with me and once you went with you, if that makes any sense. I think you know what I mean. What was your game day experience going to Yankee Stadium? What was your like?
You move around too much.
Brent, what are we doing?
No, I know what your routine is, but you move around too much. You don't stay put.
How so?
Well, it's the tavern, then it stands, then it's Billy's, then it's there, and then it's there, and then it's back to the tavern, and then like you hop around too much. And I mean, a lot of the stuff that's different is also in Manhattan, and it's nowhere near Yankee Stadium, even though it's Yankee themed. Like there's that steakhouse.
Yeah.
But that's in Manhattan.
Well, it closed down.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, weird, because people who are Yankee fans are in the Bronx. And the people in the Bronx
don't
have $100 to spend on a beer. But like I would want to do like some more not luxury.
I'm not talking like is it too like yeah, okay, whatever.
What are you asking?
Well, what once you get to the Bronx, is it too much?
No, the Bronx isn't too much. You're hopping around all over the place is too much. Like pick a bar and stay there. Or pick two.
Well, I'm a man of the people, Deanne.
Like you get to chatting with people and you have a nice time. Like chill out. Walk around, go to a bodega, walk up and down the street a little bit.
Well, that's what I was doing. Walking around, stop here and stop there, stop and chat. It's good. No?
Yes and no. I know you have a routine and I won't mess with that.
Well, now I know. Now I know. Anyways. Trade Matthews?
Yes. Yesterday.
For what?
I don't even care. 3 mid-level guys that no one knows their name. I mean that. I don't care how stupid anyone thinks I sound. I know I'm not. I know.
Would you accept a complete rebuild once again?
100%. But it's not a complete rebuild. It's like you just don't have the right pieces. Like they keep demolishing and rebuilding and demolishing and rebuilding. Like work with what you have. Keep things that work, and build on what you have. You keep wiping out the slate every time. You're not keeping anything that like, hey, maybe this guy's got potential. Maybe this guy could be a leader. Maybe this guy, knows how to communicate with the team and add to the chemistry. Like quit it.
On what was it, Friday night, we were down here in the tavern watching you had a little bit of a rough day, and it happens. Work gets in between the ears sometimes, and the Swifty show was on. And I asked her, and I'm not trying to get you all emotional. She got a little emotional, but it was a good emotion. It was good.
No, it gets me emotional, but not because of Swifty, but because I love what it brings out in people.
And that's I'm going to ask you. I'm not an anti-Swift.
And that's what gets me for Clint.
I'm not an anti-Swift Taylor Swift thing. I think she's fantastic. I think she puts on a good show and everything else. But
I think she's a great role model, all that stuff.
So I want to hear like give me the Coles Notes version of what you told me on Friday night.
Oh, when you asked me,
I said,
what
why?
is it about it?
And I said, why her? Why? And I had my opinions because of COVID and things and stuff.
I think there's some
I just want to hear
stuff. Yeah. Because I'm going to forget.
I want to hear the Deanne Michaelopoulos you got.
I think there's some calculated stuff
minutes
behind it.
to tell
She's
me
a
all
really
about
good business person. She knows how to strike when the iron's hot, all that stuff. But I said this to you, and like I'm gonna like show my Swiftiness here because like there's some facts that I happen to know. The woman's got 12 albums, 12 and like 4/2 albums of like full material. She's got songs for every feeling that's ever existed: happy, sad, angry, fight with your friend, fight with your boss, fight with your significant other, death, love, children, family, grandparents, parents, school, like the gamut that her music covers, whether it's up-tempo, mid-tempo, ballads, big like poetic songs or ridiculous dancey songs. The gamut that her music has that covers in a less than 20-year career is kind of unfathomable when you really put all that together. Like the catalog of choices of music, that there's something for every emotion, I think. Her business sense and acumen is unbelievable, like capitalizing on this. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like she's some kind of saint. It's very capitalistic and it's very opportunistic and it works. But at the same time, she's never exploited herself like in a sexuality or body or imaging in that kind of way to deliberately sell and appeal to certain things. Women wear whatever the heck they want. And yeah, she wears like short skirts or whatever, but it's not like a deliberately sexualized presentation. The encouragement of a person to be themselves is the most pure thing that's ever existed in the world. And I don't care what anybody's opinions are about left, right, black, white, up, down, whatever the heck somebody's preferences are. If you're not hurting anybody, you fly your flag. That's it. That's all I care about. And for someone to be a role model, for someone to continue to just be themselves and say, you look like that and that's great. And you look like that and you're like that and you're great. And you follow your dreams. To have someone at that level mean it, you can see it. It's genuine. I don't care what she may or may not say behind the scenes. And I've said this to you before. I don't idolize celebrities because you don't know them personally. You can never know someone personally by being a celebrity. So all the opinions we have is just perception. And sometimes the Oz curtain gets pulled back and you see the ugly behind the stage. But as it stands right now, that hasn't happened with her. There's been times where it seems like it happened, and then she kind of gets her comeuppance and proven that she's actually not. She was right the whole time. Like things like that have happened. I think she's an amazing role model for girls and people in general. She's one of the few billionaires on the planet that hasn't done it on the backs of exploiting other people, which is like rare among rare. The dollars and the charitable amounts given away, sure, they're also tax write-offs, but that doesn't mean that everybody who could do that does. I just think as far as this world is concerned, if you're going to look up to anybody who's on any sort of pedestal on a celebrity level, she's a great one to pick. And in the end, this is the biggest one. And this is the part that gets me emotional. Her concerts, her show, not her show like the concert, but her the presentation she serves to the world of who she is or what she stands for and her music and all that stuff. Whatever the product is that she's selling encourages kindness. It encourages happiness, joy, participation, consideration, sincerity, all of those things. I've been a Swiftie, so to speak, since about halfway through she was around. Mm-hmm. After she stopped being country and she became pop. And I was like, man, this bitch can write a pop song. Because I love pop music. And I love a catchy song. And that's what got me. And I spend my Spotify subscription, and that's it. That woman's never gotten $1 out of me. Ever. So she's not roping me in with me spending all this money and all this stuff. I did get concert tickets. I got them on through somebody else, but I basically got them face value. So other than a concert, which every artist is going to get that out of me eventually, there is no exploitation of my dollars. She's a fantastic role model. You go to this show, it's the happiest place on earth. It's the most accepting place I've ever been in my entire life. The entire world melts away and everyone's just nice and kind. And that is an intangible product to have. And I wasn't buying that product. It was just given to me. And that's invaluable. And that world, to be able to be a part of that, the world needs more shit like that. Oh my God. With the negativity and the awful stuff that goes on. So that's my thing about Taylor Swift.
Bernie just turned off my light, so maybe that's time to go. If you know something a little bit darker, Bernie, there he goes upstairs. Yeah, I watch it.
Like, I'm not going to defend Taylor Swift like crazy Swiftie, right? But like,
I actually because I think she's great, and I think I'm not a Swiftie, of course, but I think she put great music and she puts on a good show, and
like she's the catchiest songwriter of the last 50 years.
And that's what it should be about. So watching those people in the night getting very, very emotional, and my niece and you and my sister.
That's the thing. Like, why do people got to yuck somebody's yum? Why? And this is actually, I don't know. I heard it from her, and it's credited to Taylor Swift for this quote, but I feel like this is not her original. That anybody who makes someone feel stupid or dumb or inadequate for something that they enjoy is a special kind of crappy person.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking away from someone's happiness because you're like, you're stupid. That's the worst kind of human being.
Stupid.
You're stupid.
Stupid.
And to take that away from someone which what they're doing is enjoying something on its purest form. You had 80-year-olds and 8-year-olds trading friendship bracelets and saying hello to each other and taking people be like, oh, let me cover you up in the rain. Or here, you can't see, so you can sit in front. It's teaching people values.
We're both music fans, and there's way, way worse artists out there than Taylor Swift. Right. So it's just I find it.
I just think that like she gets a lot of slack for like, yeah, she's a billionaire. Yeah, she's rich. Yes, it's capitalism, all of that stuff. Well, we're all doing it. We all go to work every day and we're feeding the man. I'd rather see it go to someone who's actually seems like a good person. That's it. People got to hate something because it's not their bag. Fine. There's lots of stuff that's not my bag. I don't just go around letting them live rent-free in my head because I don't like them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree. Are the Leafs going to win or make the playoffs this year?
The playoffs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like come April, I'm going to be a mathematician, so I don't know.
So they're not. Anyways, the 1420. Hey, Deanne, thank you very much for joining us. The Voice of Reason podcast once again, Monday night. Every Monday night.
Coughing.
Next Monday, we might not be. We're traveling out to Vancouver Island to go with my sister.
Well, you can do a show from the car if you want, but
it'll be kind of boring. But anyways, so next Monday might do it Tuesday. Get Elaine yapping her jibs and talking and telling them how smart she is, how dumb we are. Next Tuesday night out in Parksville, BC. But anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. This show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT at SeatGeek.
1420SEAT.
And save us $20 your first purchase. Deanne, we'll see you upstairs in about 35 seconds.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us again. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. We'll talk to you all very soon and have yourselves a great evening. Thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For beer and sports talk and a whole lot more, brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Let's get in.